Thank you. It is wonderful being back here at Georgetown in this magnificent Gaston Hall. Today, I want to speak to you about the Obama administration's human rights agenda for the 21st century. Our human rights agenda for the 21st century is to make human rights a human reality. And the first step is to see human rights in a broad context. Of course, people must be free from the oppression of tyranny, from torture, from discrimination, from the fear of leaders who will imprison or disappear them. To fulfill their potential, people must be free to choose laws and leaders, to share and access information, to speak, criticize, and debate. They must be free to worship, associate, and to love in the way that they choose. In Iran, we have offered to negotiate directly with the government on nuclear issues, but have at the same time expressed solidarity with those inside Iran struggling for democratic change. As President Obama said in his Nobel speech, they have us on their side. And we can help change agents gain access to and share information through the internet and mobile phones so that they can communicate and organize. With camera phones and Facebook pages, thousands of protesters in Iran have broadcast their demands for rights denied, creating a record for all the world, including Iran's leaders, to see. I've established a special unit inside the State Department to use technology for 21st century statecraft. We are deeply concerned about some of the stories coming out of Iran. In large measure, in reaction, we think, to the response to the elections back in June. There have been abuses committed within the detention facilities and elsewhere that we are deeply concerned about.
Good morning, Secretary Clinton. Thank you so much for being here at Georgetown. You brought up Iran today, and I really appreciate that. As an Iranian American, I'm a graduate student here and had the pleasure of being in Iran this summer for my first trip, and to witness really what happened after the election was an incredible moment in history. Now that 6 months has passed after the election, what can the United States do to balance our support of the human rights activists and demonstrators in the streets of Iran with our agenda regarding the broader international security issues with Iran's proposed nuclear program? So how do we balance those two issues?
After the election and the reaction that began almost immediately by people who felt that the election was invalid, put us in a position of seriously considering what is the best way we can support those who are putting their lives on the line by going into the streets. We wanted to convey clear support, but we didn't want the attention shifted from the legitimate concerns to the United States, because we had nothing to do with the spontaneous reaction that grew up in response to the behavior of the Iranian government. The activists inside Iran know that we support them. Now, clearly, we think that pursuing an agenda of non-proliferation is a human rights issue. I mean, what would be worse than nuclear material or even a nuclear weapon being in the hands of either a state or a non-state actor that would be used to intimidate and threaten and even, in the worst case scenario, destroy. So we do not want to be in an either-or position. Are we going to pursue non-proliferation with Iran, or are we going to support the demonstrators inside Iran? We're going to do both to the best of our ability to get a result that will further the cause we are seeking to support.